Welcome back, everybody, to the BMX Podcast. Thanks very much for stopping back by. As always, you got Danny Pena, Kevin Wilson running the show tonight. Do we need to stretch? I don't know. You seem a little tired, dude. You were busy today.
Yeah, I just got off the phone working all day, so let me.
Yeah, you gotta pay those bills, bro.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll be at my dad's. When I was at my dad's, is right after my mom passed away. I was working from home at his house a few days a week, just till I knew he was comfortable, you know. And he said, I walked into the living room and I sat down. I'm like, man, I'm tired. He goes, why? You didn't do shit all day. I'm like, what are you talking about? You just sat in there and talked on the phone all day. I go, it's mentally exhausting. It's a different type of exhaustion, you know, because, you know, he worked at, my dad worked for General Motors and then eventually Toyota. So, I mean, that's like work, you know, going to the plant and, you know, doing absolute work. But at the end of his career, he was just inspecting the cars that came off the line.
Okay.
You know, like
what city? Whereabouts?
Fremont, California.
That's like down by El Central, right?
Fremont is in the Bay Area, so it's about from where I'm at, about an hour 15, hour 20.
Okay.
Not that far from where I am. Yeah.
You grew up in Stockton, or you grew just the area?
No, I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in Union City, California. That's where I did all my racing in the Bay Area. That's why when we're talking to guys like Mark Jackson, I could relate to the Bay Area because I didn't move out to the Valley until 2001, I think, the end of 2000. Yeah, but I've been out here like 25 years now, you know. Got it.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, you want to talk a little bit about yesterday with Stanley? Dude,
yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. We got so much information from him, and I know he was going from subject to subject, so I was having a little bit of a hard time following him at certain points. I'm like, what is he talking about again? And I would catch up. Everything he was saying had a lot of value, but I was like, in his mind, he's like, I'm on to the next subject, and I go, wait, I have to ask you a question, and then I didn't want to interrupt him because, you know, he was on a roll talking. And I was like, oh, man, I'm just going to let him do his thing. And then you had good questions last night. And I was like, oh, that's a good question. I'm just going to sit
My
back.
problem is I don't want to lose the question because I have a small brain. So I'm like, man, if I let it, I have to get my question now that I got it handy, dude. So that's my problem, man. So I have to maybe I should write stuff down as we go. That way I won't forget.
Well, the good thing is he was kind of standalone guest, man. Like he was able to just tell us stories. And I think that was what people want to hear. They don't really want to hear us talking. If we have a guest, they want to hear what that guy has to say, you know.
We should have drilled down on the Shimano thing. We should have drilled down more on I feel like we could have drilled down a little more on the Chips episode. But the Shimano thing, I thought we could have really gotten a little bit deeper on that. I mean, every once in a while we have a guest on where I think, man, we should have delved deeper into that subject.
Yeah, I had no idea that Shimano DX pedals came out in '79 or whatever you mentioned. I was like, is it that old, dude? Because when I started racing in '82, a lot of people were on the KKT Lightnings and things like that. And I got a pair of Shimano DX pedals, but that was like '84, I think, when I got my first set of those. So it'd been a while before I got my first set. And yeah, they're great pedals, but I liked how he was saying they're still good. You can still use them. Those are good pedals. That was pretty cool. And that's your favorite pedal?
My favorite pedal, dude. So that stem, dude, it's still bothering me, dude. That had to have been a joke.
How is that rideable? That thing is literally this long.
I don't understand. I'm not just. I mean, the guy's in the Hall of Fame. I get that, but it has to be a joke of some kind. It can't be legitimate, dude. There's no way.
What we should do is ask Michael if he's got actual pictures of that thing on the bike, because honestly, dude, that's 12 inches long. How is he reaching the bars?
I don't know, man. It's like it's a great story, but
yeah,
I can't imagine riding that thing, man. Ken Lowry would be going off, man, because Ken Lowry thought that
what in the world?
the ESPN was the longest. And he'd be going off.
We glazed over his Hall of Fame inductions.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Yeah, we didn't get into that very well. But I did see his induction speech, and it was really similar to how when we were talking to him. He just goes and he's in his own world of BMX. He's like, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and he did the same thing on the induction. So I was like, but it was really cool to have him on.
Dude, he's man, he seems like the nicest, even keel, just a humbled guy, great guy, man. Like I really enjoyed talking to him, man.
Yeah, me too. One of the questions I was super interested in, and I did ask him, he did answer it, but I wanted kind of more in depth, like being like in a sport that's primarily dominated by riders that are white, and I can tell you, dude, I'm Hispanic, and I can feel it. I go, man, all these kids are white. I mean, there was very little minorities racing in the early 80s, and then now it's like, unless I just didn't notice, which is very possible too.
I would have thought or whatever that he may have said something like, it made me want to try harder, or it motivated me. Or something like that. But he was pretty like, just what it is. So I was surprised about that. But yeah,
he did say he had some issues. Like I heard him say something like some people told him to get off the track, and then he said now nobody cares, which is 100% correct, because I mean it's pretty obvious you could be any race and be a great BMX racer. There's no advantage to either race,
And another thing, dude, we glossed over is the second issue of BMX Action, dude. Like, man, hindsight's 2020, man. Like, I wish.
Let me Google that really quick, dude, because he said he was on the second cover ever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and it would have been bicycle motocross. Hold on a second, man. I'm totally misspelling here. Bicycle motocross action. And then it would have been, how do you word that? Like issue 2?
Yeah. I got it written down which one it was. It was February 1977.
February 1977?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, dude. Because I'm like really interested now. This could be it right here. Oh, it is. Holy crap. All right. I'm assuming this is him. You want to see it?
Yeah, it's black. Well, that's it. There's another one, dude. That's him. But there's another one. That one right there you pulled up was from 1980.
Yeah, this is February 1980.
Right. There was one from 77. I put it in the edit.
Oh, you did? Man, that's a great shot of him, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, that is him. It says Stanley on the jersey.
Yeah.
Check it out. I zoomed in on.
Yeah, he's leading Brent Patterson.
Dude, that guy's amazing, huh?
Yeah, that's Brent Patterson in the back of him. But go to 70. Pull up Stanley Robinson BMX Action.
Okay. That's amazing, dude. It's got a couple covers. Stanley Robinson BMX Action. Okay. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's black.
Oh, dude, it is him. It's that King's BMX jersey.
Yeah.
That he has on. I'm trying to. It's not letting me zoom, so I'm going to do the best I can to show you. Hold on.
Oh, I know it. I put it.
Just for everybody else. I don't know if you could see that. So tiny.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the one that was the second, I believe.
Oh, I got it now, Kev. Here's a better.
Yeah.
Wow, he's got 2 covers, dude.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We should have did this last night.
Yeah. Well, I was going to, but I get sidetracked. Dude. I get all excited.
Right.
I get all crazy, and I can't concentrate. I'm a terrible interviewer. So
that's crazy. All right, Kevin. All right.
Go ahead.
Where were we again? You said we should have pulled out those photos while we were interviewing, and we kind of missed.
I'm a terrible interviewer. I keep forgetting stuff. But
honestly, dude, I didn't know he had covers. He mentioned it, and I go, "Oh, he's been on the cover." I didn't know he's pretty big time, man. He was racing the best at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was totally a missed opportunity.
You didn't know he had covers, dude. I thought I was a bad interviewer.
I get I think you've already put the trailer out for that episode. Is there any way to still post up the photos in that, or is the edit already complete?
What you talk about the covers?
Mm-hmm.
They're in there. I just didn't use that part in the preview, but they're in all that is in the video. Okay,
because I was basically listening to the preview today because once I start working, I could glance at the TV, but I'm really just listening.
Yeah, no, they're all of it's in there. All of it's good to go.
Okay.
But yeah, dude. So, anyways, when I tried to clip your thing in it, it didn't work very well. I don't think it's in there. It's in the preview. It's in the episode.
But I saw that, and I go,
I have to rethink that.
You clipped the one where I'm barely talking.
Yeah.
I was using Terry Tennet's actual home movie footage, and he put it on YouTube like 6 years ago, and
maybe next time you could email me what clip you want me to use, and I'll do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's tons of hours of.
Yeah, dude. You know, since we're talking about missed opportunities, when we talked to Steve,
mm-hmm.
What was the whole thing about him knocking out Vanilla Ice? Do you know what they were talking about?
None. Okay. But they said it was a rumor.
They said it was an urban legend that was kind of true.
But they didn't touch on it.
I didn't realize what they were talking about until I was editing the video, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So you didn't know what they were talking about either.
No, I never heard anything like that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually, when they brought it up, you're right. I was like, wait, what? And then we moved on to another subject like pretty quickly.
Dude, we totally glossed over the Wheaties box. Man, we made so many mistakes, dude. I was like, I should have asked him, how the hell did you get the Wheaties box, right? Where'd you take the picture? Was it a lot of work? Did you get paid for it? You know,
yeah.
I missed like 10 questions I could have asked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hindsight's 20/20. I mean, it's too late now. We asked him good questions, but we could have asked him 50 questions, really, if we wanted to. Yeah, so it was a pretty good interview. Like last time,
it was a great interview. Yeah. But
I will say this though about Stanley. He's pretty good at trivia, dude. Now I know Michael was helping him with.
No. I think I was playing two people.
Yeah. But with the BMX questions, some of them he knew like, bam, he knew them right away. Yeah. So, 2 against 1 last night.
Joel Cola got me, dude. I had never even heard of Joel.
Oh, I know. I was like, that's an easy one, dude. Joel Cola. Yeah. At least I thought it was an easy one. So
I put it in the edit. The Joel.
What do you got going on tonight, Kevin? What do you want to chat about tonight?
And so I wanted to do something about interesting ways we got to the track, support from our families. Did our families think that we were, did our families think we were heathens, or were we upstanding young men? Did they support us? Did they fight us when we wanted to spend our money on bikes and that type of thing? And I thought it might be interesting to talk to you and compare stories, because I have a funny feeling that our stories are going to be diametrically opposite. Yeah, I thought of one, just now. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you get the ball rolling, and then I'll follow you.
All right. So this was 1984, and I was living in the Bay Area, and my Aunt Rachel and my cousins James and Eric moved to Mesa, Arizona. And it was a big loss for me because those guys are like my brothers, and all of a sudden they moved out of state. So they were gone for a few months, and then Christmas came along. And so my aunt said, hey, your Uncle George is going to drive down here for Christmas break. You should come with them. My mom and dad were all for it as long as I was gone for a week, right? And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. So we're all racers. My cousin George, James, Eric, me, we're all racers. So when this is the 80s now, remember. So we're in a Ford pickup with a camper shell on it. And so we were riding, me and my cousin George were literally riding back there with 3 race bikes, all the luggage, and it was my uncle, my aunt, and my grandmother in the cab of the truck, and we drove all the way to Arizona. Sounds okay so far, right? Although it's very dangerous. Yeah, so we're in the van, we're in the truck, man, and we just left Newark, California. We just left. And we were supposed to transport my Aunt Rachel's dog, which was a Cocker Spaniel. You know, it's about this big of dog, right? Dogs, I guess, never been in a long car ride. So as soon as we started rolling, the dog started panicking, dude, and he started running around in circles in the bed of the truck and proceeded to crap everywhere. I mean, just buckets of crap everywhere, all over the sleeping bags, everything we were laying on. Now, when you're in some of the youngsters probably don't remember, but if you're in a camper shell, there's a glass right here, and there's a cab for the glass, or the cab has its own glass. They can't hear us. So we're banging on the window, man, and they can't hear us. It's like 5 in the morning, so it's dark, and we're banging on the window. My cousin opened up the back of the tailgate, and he got his head out, and I'm trying to shove my head out the side window, and my aunt said, something's wrong with the boys. Look at, they got their heads out the window, dude. And they pulled over, man, and dude, my cousin just jumped out. The dog's crapping everywhere, and we had to turn around and go back, dude. And it was we lost like 2 hours because my aunt had to wash everything that was in there, and then we got back on the road again. But I'm going to tell you something else, dude, that happened on that trip. Do you mind if I tell you that too?
No, let's hear it.
All right, so we get to Arizona, and my cousin lives in a new housing development. So it's just a bunch of houses in the middle of nowhere. All the streets are still being developed, you know, and there was I guess a highway that was being built, and there was a big drainage ditch, Kevin. It must have been, I don't know, I'd say probably about 4 feet deep, right? And it was slightly downhill. So me and my cousin James are booking down this thing, you know, I'm just hauling ass going straight down this like freaking drainage ditch. And I think I told you before, I'm not the greatest bunny hopper, right? And man, this is why I believe in God, and I'm going to tell you why. I have a bad habit of putting my head down when I'm pedaling hard. I don't know if you do that, but
No.
sometimes I'm looking straight down, pedaling. I don't know why I do that, dude. To this day, I have to make myself look up. But anyway, I was pedaling down. I was looking down, pedaling as hard as I could. I was flying, dude. I must have been over 25 miles an hour. Now I'm really cooking, right? I look up, and the drainage ditch ends, and it's just a cement wall. And I'm telling you, it had to be at least 4 feet high. I'm going full blast at this. There's no stopping, dude, right? I just closed my eyes, dude, and I pulled up as hard as I could, waiting for the impact. Dude, I cleared it, and I landed on flat ground. When I was expecting to feel the impact, all of a sudden, and I rolled smoothly, and I was like, oh, dude, I don't maybe call it adrenaline. I'm kind of a spiritual person, so I think somebody was looking over for me at that moment, dude, because I pulled up over that thing, that embankment. There's no way, Kevin, in the world I can bunny hop that. I don't know how I got up there. And I don't know how I did it.
Were your cousins with you? Did they like go, yeah, dude, yeah?
Only my cousin James. He was behind me. Yeah, and I don't even know if he remembers, because remember, it's 1984, but it's something I will never, ever forget, dude. I remember the sensation. I closed my eyes and pulled up as hard as I could, and I went up and made it. And I could have been adrenaline, man, but I don't know, dude. Something got me over that wall, and there's no way, dude. I told you I couldn't even bunny hop a tricycle. I kept clipping the handlebars. So how the hell I did it? It could have been the speed. I don't know, man. I think it was a higher calling that day.
So you guys, did you hit any of the Arizona tracks when you were down there?
No, there's Chandler BMX, but we were really there for just for visiting, and we brought the race bikes so we can go outside and ride it all day, you know. And that's essentially what we did. We just rode our bikes all day, found places to go jumping, and stuff like that.
Okay, all right.
But that's an insane story, dude. Did
your cousin become locals at Chandler?
They raced it once or twice, and then eventually they moved back to California. And I was glad when they came back. And I was like, yeah, you guys are back. They were gone for a good year, so he didn't get much racing in while they were out there.
I know they were younger than you, but how did they stack up against you? Were you like, if you taking their age into consideration, were they just as good as you, or were they better than you for their age?
My cousin Eric, he was kind of one of those, I'm going to hang out and do whatever you guys are doing. So he could care less how fast he was. He was just a cool guy that wanted to hang out. And then my cousin James, he was at my level but younger at the time. But I'll tell you, Kevin, I will remember the day he beat me. Yeah, I'm like, I was about 18 and he's probably about 15. And we were in gate practice, and I always smoked him to the first turn. I mean, because I just was a little bigger and stronger. Yeah. But as he started getting older, he started getting way bigger than me and stronger than me, and he was a better rider. He beat me to the first turn, Kevin, in practice, and he turned around. He goes, "I finally beat you." And I looked at him. I go, "Yeah, you did, dude. I had no excuse. You got a better snap. He smoked me to the first turn." And I was like, I had to eat that moment. It was a prideful moment for me. I go, he's like my little brother. He just beat me to the first turn, and he beat me decisively. Second, but he beat me. And we never raced each other. That was the only, because I have 3 years on him, so we just never raced each other. I guess now if he wanted to race, we'd race each other. But yeah, he got me, dude. And I knew he was getting good because I was like, man, he's starting to jump really good, man. And I could see his speed was coming up. And I was like, I don't think I can mess with him anymore.
My brother and I, we only raced each other probably 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. And he was just as fast as I was, but he was 2 years younger than me. So essentially, he was faster than I was for his age. And I think it was about even when we raced. Probably I might have beat him twice. He might have beat me twice. But there was a funny instance at Azusa where there was no one there. So they ran a 14 and over expert motos. Okay. And there was my brother, whose last name is Wilson. My last name is Wilson. There was a guy that came in from out of town whose last name was Wilson. And then the family that ran the track, his name was Dave Wilson. So there was 4 Wilsons in the moto, and that's Wilson, and Wilson. It was funny, man. I had to race my brother.
When you raced your brother, did you guys have a sibling rivalry at all, in terms of how well you guys would do?
Jumping for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. And it's always the same thing, man. Like I could almost beat him jumping. It was so close, but yeah, he was a better jumper than me. He was the best he was the best our city ever saw.
For jumping.
In jumping, yeah. The most talented. He was by far the best jumper that in the city, in the history of our city, that at least when in my era, he was the best. And,
so you're the older brother,
the older brother, yeah.
Okay, so you guys came up riding together, racing together, but on the track, only every once in a while you'd mix it up?
Yeah.
Were you able to beat him?
Yeah, I beat him a couple times. He beat me a couple times. He actually, so growing up, there was 2 sets of brothers. Me and my brother, which I would say if I'm 16, my little brother was 14. Okay. And then there was another set of brothers that's 2 years older than me and my age. So Brett, the guy that was on my first ever podcast, is the same age as me. And then he has an older brother named Corey, who was in those videos that I sent you from Pipeline. Okay. And so he's 60 now. I'm 58. So the 4 brothers, we grew up in the same city. Both of our fathers rode dirt bikes. Both of our mothers rode dirt bikes. We have a lot of similarities between these 4 brothers. But so with the older brother was the guy that I told you raced Rob Fade and Sean Texas and beat him 1 race. So they were on main bikes way before us. And
Okay.
yeah, so when we used to see, okay, I called my brother today to talk about this, so I got my story straight.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, dude, when I was 16 years old, I started racing.
Right.
And I got my license probably when I was 16 and a half.
Right.
By the time I got my license, I had 2 cars. I had a 69 Mustang Mach 1 that my mom gave me, and I had a 65 Chrysler New Yorker. And I think back on it now, I go, why would we be riding our bikes to the track? Why would we be asking mom and dad for rides to the track? I had my license. There was no reason why. And I asked my brother, I go, dude, why? And he goes, I couldn't tell you, dude. I have no good explanation on why you didn't drive to the track. And I was like, wow, I can't remember. But my buddy Corey, he was a pro at the time when I first started racing. I used to go out to the track. We used to go out to the track with him in his Nova. And the one time that when I was almost probably 17. I was probably 16 and a half, something like that. And I was an expert.
Right.
And he goes, don't even think about beating me tonight, dude. I'm going to leave you here. I go, yeah, after you, dude. Don't worry, I'm going to beat you. And I beat him, and he left me.
No. You did?
Yeah, Zeus, yeah, left me. But he came back he came back and got me like midway home. He found me and picked me up. He felt sorry for me and came back. And I've told that story. I've told that story before. But I can't remember ever driving to the track, even though I know I had my license. I had 2 cars, and so I asked my brother. I go, did Dad take us to? Who took us to the track more, Mom or Dad? And he goes, oh, dude, Mom did. I go, I don't remember Mom taking us. I remember Dad taking us to the track. And I've mentioned my dad a couple times. My dad was a compulsive hoarder. Now, so I want to describe the what he took us to the track in. Okay.
Was it like Sanford and Son?
Dude, yeah, it's worse there. He made Sanford and Son look good. So he had a station wagon, a country squire station wagon, right? Where he had a roof, like a homemade roof rack that was bolted to he ran bolts through the roof of the car and mounted this roof rack on there. And he had probably about 7 or 8 spare tires in this roof rack.
Wow.
Right. And then in the back, he had so much shit in the back he had old TVs, old stereos, old speakers. He had old, just anything, any electronics, all kinds of 8-track tape players, video cassette recorders, just because from the stuff that he bought from the yard sales, right? And
Did you guys sell anything at the track, Kevin?
No. It gets worse, dude. So it's all in the back of the station wagon.
Right.
Then he has a trailer hooked up to the station wagon, and in the trailer. So okay, imagine a van, right? You got the van, cut it into four sections. He had the rear lower part of the van that was made into a trailer. So you cut the top off and cut the back off. And he got it from like a junkyard, and he made a tongue for it. And in this trailer, he had about 6 old motorcycles of all different. They were all in pieces. They were hanging out. It was just filled to the rim with motorcycles because he ran out of room at the house in the garage. So he had to take it with. So wherever he went, he pulled this trailer with the station wagon with the tires on top, with all the electronics in the back of the station wagon. So we would have to get in the back of the station wagon and go to the track. And when my dad took us to the race, and it's funny now, but it's embarrassing when you're 16, 17 years old, man. And then one time he got pulled over. I remember, and the cop, it was at night, and the cop kind of walks up in the station with the flashlight. He's looking in, and he goes, "What the hell's all this stuff?" So the cop thought that my dad was a cat burglar that was going around stealing all these electronics from houses in his.
No way.
He called him back up. He's like, "Where'd you get all this stuff from?" And I was like, "I got a yard sale." He goes, No. Hold on. He called the sergeant up. They took all the stuff out of the car, trying to figure out if it was stolen or not. They thought that my dad was a cat burglar in the city, dude. It's kind of funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
that was compulsive, huh? With his buying and
it was nuts. One time he parks his. One time he goes to the post office in South Pasadena. He parks his car with the trailer on it, and he parks it in front of the post office. Gets out, goes in the post office. He comes back out, and his car's gone. And he's like, oh my, he's tripping out. He's walking around trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to find a phone.
Right.
And then he looks down the street, and he sees his car. He didn't put his car in park, right? So the car coasted down the street, right? Went across Fremont Avenue, went up the curb, and the trailer and the station wagon was sitting in front of a church. There was a Presbyterian church.
It didn't hit anything?
No, it just went to a halt. And the cops are out there looking at it, going, what the hell's going on, man? Because he was in the post office getting stamps or something. And so the cops are looking around and going, what the hell, where'd this come from? And my dad runs down there. Oh man! Oh, good. Sorry, man. Sorry, Chief. Sorry. And
my mom was my big supporter with racing. Like she took me to all the races. Like my dad, he wasn't really into me doing BMX racing that much, but he let me do it obviously. But what he was good at was fixing my stuff. Like every time I didn't think he was interested at all, like he would. Like I got a brand new Skyway frame and fork, and I brought it home and I started trying to disassemble my old bike to put it all on the Skyway. And he comes outside, he's looking at us. He goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna put all these parts on the new frame." He goes, "You don't know what you're doing." And he pushed me aside and built my whole bike. That's how my dad contributed. If something broke, he fixed it for me. And he still gives me a hard time to this day. He goes, "You don't even know how to adjust brakes." I go, "Dad, I was like 12. I'm in my 50s now." And then, but my mom, I have, hats off to my mom because, man, she would work a lot. My mom was was kind of really high up, kind of CEO-ish level, at her company. So she was working a lot, but she would always race home to get me to races, whether that was on a Saturday or Friday night. Friday nights were tough because I'd be waiting for her, I'm like, "Come on, let's go. I'm going to miss signups, and then she'd pick me up and race me to the track. And one time, dude, she took me to, I want to say it was a Friday night race. Yeah, it had to been. And she had a Buick Regal, like an 81. And the trunk on that's pretty big. All I had to do was open up the trunk, take off my front wheel, and just lay the bike down inside the trunk. No problem. Go to the races. And so that was kind of one of our main transportation at the time. And so she takes me to the race. I got my Skyway in the trunk. We get back from the race Friday night. I'm too lazy to empty the car out, so I just leave it in there. And I go about Saturday morning. I forgot where I went. I went out with some friends or something. I came back home, and they had a brand new Fiero in the garage. And they're like, "Look at Mom's new car, blah, blah, blah." I still have that Fiero, by the way. It's in my garage. Yeah, oh, really? And I go, "Mom," she goes, "What?" I go, "Where's your car?" "Well, we traded it in." And I go, my bike's in the trunk. Yeah, man. So we had to go all the way back to the dealership, which was like 45 minutes away, and we had to drive all the way back in my dad's VW Rabbit. And because, that was his commuter car. And sure enough, man, we opened up the trunk, and I told the guy, I go, "My bike's in the trunk." He goes, "It's all right. The car's in the back. We haven't done anything with it." And thank God.
No pressure, man.
Yeah, my heart jumped out of my chest. I'm like, "My bike's in the trunk,"
What kind of bike was it?
That was my Skyway. Yeah, that was my Skyway. Yeah, but I started driving myself to races when I got my license. My dad ended up giving me that VW Rabbit. I was in my junior year in high school, and at that point, I started taking myself. I didn't take myself to nationals though. That was because that'd be too far, So my mom and my Aunt Rachel would take us to nationals. So we would go to like Bakersfield or Reno or Stockton because I was living in the Bay Area, and they would just drive us all around Roseville and stuff like that. So stuff that we can get to, within a few hours, and they would drive us to those. That was good times, man. I definitely look back on those times fondly, you know. And I did like driving myself. When I was driving myself, friends wanted to come. Hey, can we come? Da, 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 da. And yeah, you guys could come. It was a lot of fun.
Was your Rabbit a convertible or hardtop?
Hardtop 4-door, so it wasn't even a coupe.
I had a Rabbit convertible, dude, when I was in the Marine Corps.
Dude, did people give you a hard time for driving a girl car?
Yes, dude. Yeah, I loved it, dude. I got more ass in the toilet seat, dude. It was great, man.
Because of your cool little Rabbit convertible? Yeah, right on, dude. I love that for you, man.
It's crazy, dude. Anyways, we drove that car all over the Eastern Seaboard, dude. So yeah, man. So my whole thing, so what's funny with my situation is my dad was hardcore motor dirt bikes, not necessarily motocross, but dirt bikes.
Okay.
So this is what's weird because we would go out to the desert all the time. He totally supported us having dirt bikes, mini bikes, all that crap. But yet he really never got into the BMX thing.
Mm-hmm.
It never really transferred over. Just so only if we really begged him a lot to take us to the track, he would take us. Like he took us to the National and in the Burbank National, but he never really did it. My dad was a real weird guy, man. Like just I'll tell you a story about where. Have you ever watched that TV show I Shouldn't Be Alive? Have you ever seen that show?
I've heard of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wait, no, I haven't seen that. They're like short stories.
Yeah, about people that they get themselves in trouble and they almost die, and then they're saved.
Yeah.
So we were, oh man, I must have been 5 or 6, and my brother was probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 and 7 maybe. And my dad, when my dad was younger before he got married, he used to spend a lot of time out at the dry lake in El Mirage Dry Lake out in the Palmdale area. And he was very familiar with that area. He was out there all the time riding his dirt bikes. So he used to take us out to the desert to go riding on our lawnmower mini bikes. And he didn't have a truck, but he had like a 65 Lincoln Continental, the huge one, the suicide doors, right?
Right.
So what he did was we had a go-kart, it was a real go-kart, dude. And he put it on top of the car and he tied it around on top of the car. And then he put our 2 mini bikes in the trunk. So we have so all I did was pop the trunk open, put the 2 mini bikes standing up, and then close it down, and they almost fit in the trunk of this in the trunk of this Lincoln. And we went to the desert with my mom. So it was my mom, my dad, and my brother and I. And we're out at the desert all day long. We're having a great time. We're riding our go-kart. We're doing our mini bikes. We're having a good time. Sun started to come down. My mom started, hey, we should probably leave, Jimmy. And we lived in Glass Hill Park at the time, which is it's like West LA, Eagle Rock area.
Right.
The hood. And we should probably go soon. So it's probably like, I don't know, 120-mile trip back home. And my dad goes, well, okay, but I know a shortcut. And my mom's like, no shortcuts. We're going to go the way we came in. My dad goes, trust me, I've been out here as a young man. I've been out here almost all my life. I know what I'm doing. Trust me. So we loaded up the Lincoln Continental, and I remember this like it was yesterday. Dude, we get on the road and we start going down this road, la, la, la. And as we go farther down the road, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower, mile after mile after mile after mile, and that car is really low. So we're hitting the boom, boom, boom. And we're getting into sand, and my mom's starting to get scared, and she's scaring the shit out of my brother and I. We're like, oh, what's going to happen, man? Are we going to crash? What's going to go on? And then by this time it's dark, and we're driving still. And then until my dad goes boom, and my dad bottoms the car out. It's on the frame, in the sand, in the middle of nowhere. We have no idea where we're at. It's dark. My brother and I are scared out of our minds, dude. And we're sitting there, and my mom's like, my mom's screaming at my dad, I told you. And my dad's like, oh my gosh, give me a break, man. So my dad gets out of the car and he goes, "I'm going for help." And
was it dark at this point?
Huh?
Was it dark at this point, or was it still daylight?
It was like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Holy crap!
In the middle of the desert, no lights, no North Star, nothing, black.
Dang.
So he goes, "Come on, Kevin, you're coming with me." I'm like, "What?" So we had 2 mini bikes. I'm like 5 or 6. I'm like maybe 7, maybe. And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Come on, you're gonna come with me." And my mom's like, "No. You got us in this mess. You're gonna get us out of this mess. You're going on your own." So my dad's like, "Fine, I'll go by myself." So he gets on one of the mini bikes, the one that rode the best, right? And he goes, and he gets his pack of cigarettes, puts it in his shirt, puts a wool hat on, and he goes, "I'll be back." And
Wait, how tall was your dad before you go forward? Because we have to.
My dad's 28 years older than me, so at that time I would have. So he would have been in his mid-30s.
Okay, but how tall was he? A big man like you?
5'11", 5'10".
So he's still pretty big on a mini bike.
Yeah. And so he go. My dad looked exactly like Elvis, by the way. And I'm going to put pictures in.
Okay.
He looks exactly like Elvis. But so my mom's like, "No way, you got us in this mess. You're getting us out of this mess." So he goes, "Okay, I'm coming. So I'll be back." He takes off into the darkness, and we're like, "Oh man, dude!" And every little howling coyotes. My brother going, "Oh fuck, we're gonna die!" And then my mom's trying to keep us, and
dude, making my eyes water.
We had no food, right? So my mom's like, we had like a piece of bread and some mayonnaise on it. Like,
yeah,
here's your dinner. And oh man, dude. So maybe like just before dawn. So I think he was probably gone 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
Break. And we hear the of the mini bike, right?
Yeah.
And behind my dad, I guess he found some house out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
In Palmdale, and there was like a Dodge Power Wagon. This huge. It must have been like, it had like 44-inch wheels on it. It was raised. Had this big crane off the back, and but I was like, I got help. So this guy. I guess my dad paid him like $100 to winch the car out of the sand and push us till we got out. Till we got to the nearest road where we could drive, and we drove home. And then we were so hungry that my dad finally relented and stopped, and we got a Wendy's on the way home. And
treat too, huh? Getting Wendy's.
That was the first time I ever went to Wendy's, dude. It was fun. So I joke about that story all the time. Like we could have been on an episode of I Shouldn't Be Alive, man. But that's my stuck in the desert story with my dad, my crazy father.
I got a question for you, man. So growing up, you started racing, at 16, and was it difficult for you to convince your parents to let you race? Was that a hard conversation, or
no?
My
parent, I just talked this with my brother about this.
Okay.
He said the same thing. This is today we talked.
Right.
He goes, dude, we weren't okay in the grand scheme of things. My parents were not the most hands-on parents.
Okay.
But our parents were the most hands-on out of our friends.
Okay.
So let me explain. My parents stopped buying us Christmas presents when I was probably 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
They would give us money and say, "Go get your own Christmas presents."
Wow.
My parents did not buy the groceries. They gave my brother and I $100 every 2 weeks, and they said, "Go buy the groceries." They checked out. I mean, they supported us. We were by far the wealthiest out of the friends.
Okay.
Right? But we weren't wealthy, but we had the most money out of all the friends. So we never went hungry, but we never had a lot. So
yeah.
So my mom would give us $100 and go buy groceries. She didn't care if we bought $100 worth of Snickers bars or we bought $100 worth of spaghetti. It didn't matter, right? So we would go to the store, and this follows me to this day, where I never bought spaghetti sauce. I'd always buy the little cans of tomato paste and make my own for a dime, and I'd make my own spaghetti sauce. And, we were very mindful of what we bought for the house for groceries. So to answer your question, my parents didn't give a shit. They were like, do what you want. Do what you want. Actually, my mom sat my brother and I down probably when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And she goes, and my brother was younger than me, 2 years younger than me. And literally, my mother told me this. She goes, listen, I'm not going to be able to control you. I get that. I go, but here's the deal. Never call me when you get arrested. If you call me when you get arrested, I will not answer. I will not come and get you. If you get a girl pregnant, I will not support the baby. If you do so she read off like 5 things. She goes, I will let you do what you need to do or want to do, but these 5 things, if you do these, it's over. If you get arrested, all this stuff. So we were like, okay, all right. And we never got. I tease about stories, right? About the cops calling my mom and stuff like that. But it's all real pity patty stuff. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke pot when I grew up. I was scared to death of getting a girl pregnant, dude. It all stuck except for school.
Yeah.
I never went to school. But even to this day, dude, like I'm not a big drinker. I'm not a big. I hate drugs. I really never enjoyed them. But they checked out, dude. They could have cared less.
Real.
Yeah.
See, I was like, this is how our childhoods are a little bit different because mom and dad were fully immersed in whatever it was I was doing. But, in the 70s and 80s, we could leave the house all day. There was no question about it. Like, especially in the summer, man, you're on your bike, like, see ya, and be back before, like everyone says it. But when the streetlights came on, we had to be back home. It was pretty basic stuff, man.
Dude, I'm gonna share something with you.
Yeah.
Ever since I've been married, I've told the story to my wife and my kids, and they never believe me.
Okay.
We never had milk. We would have cereal, and we would have like Nestle's Strawberry Quick. Have you ever had that when you were a kid?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we never had milk. My parent, we would buy milk, right? But the milk would last literally an hour. A gallon of milk would last an hour in our house. It'd be gone. So what we would do is we would put, we would do, you ever had shredded wheat?
Yeah, that stuff is gross, dude. It just falls apart.
Not even the frosted shredded wheat.
That's like eating hay. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
We would eat it with water.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
And we used to mix the Quick with water. And every time it was disgusting. And we have a joke that says every time we went back, we thought, well, maybe it's not going to be as bad this time. Maybe it's going to be better this time. And we used to drink Strawberry Quick with water, and we used to eat shredded wheat. They had the mini shredded wheats, the mini frosted mini wheats, right?
I never talk about those big chunky ones.
The big bricks. Yeah. We had to break them up, dude. Yeah, we used to with water, dude. So my wife she goes, "You're exaggerating. You're full of shit. I don't believe you." And my brother would come over and say, "Dude, it's true." We had these big whole arguments with the whole family, right? So when my mom passed away, we were having my mom's service, whatever, and all of our friends came to the service. And the first thing they said, we're all sitting around getting drunk, and the first thing they says, "Dude, you remember we used to drink Quick with water at your house, and we used to eat?" And then my wife's like, both of our wives, they're like, "Oh my God, you guys were telling the truth. You guys really eat shredded wheat with water."
Dude, that is ridiculous, man. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine, since we're just reminiscing off the cuff today, man. My buddy, his name's Julius. We've been friends since we were 9 years old. He skipped the 3rd grade and went into the 4th grade, right? And they sat that kid right in front of me. And he turned around, he looks at me, he goes, "What's your name?" I go, "Danny." And he goes, "We're going to be best friends." And we've been friends ever since. So like I tell that story to everybody, right? But he was into basketball and more traditional sports. He's a really good basketball player. But, you know, in the 80s, we were all riding BMX bikes, and his only BMX bike was a Raleigh Rampart with Moto Mags on it. So at the time, we were riding like full-on race bikes, so his bike was kind of a tank. But he'd hang out with us and go jumping and everything, man. And I was looking at his bike one day, dude, and he was running like, it looked like a 42 front sprocket. It was really small. Because I noticed when we were riding, he was spinning. And I go, dude, your gearing's all jacked up, man. I have another one. I could replace your sprocket and put a 44 on there. It's going to improve the whole bike. He goes, okay. So, dude, he was getting ready to go home to Michigan to visit some family. And I go, I can fix it. I'll fix it. Then you can take it home. He goes, all right. I took it all apart, dude. And I didn't tighten his chain enough when I put the bike back together. Dude, he took off, and he tells me this story. He goes, I want to come on your podcast just so I can say how you hurt me. He rode off, dude, right? And he was only like a block from the house, and he got up the pedal, the chain slipped. He went over the bars, and, dude, he split his chin. He still has the scar on his chin. He tells everybody, hey, remember when you fixed my bike and you did this to my chin, dude?
Have you ever broken a chain? It's horrible, dude.
Oh, my God, dude. So I'm glad you brought this up. My dad invented something that I'm going to share with you right now. And now it's actual thing that you know how you can buy those chain tensioners that go on the back of your dropouts? Okay, so on my first Skyway, I ran a Rhea 7X chrome wheels on a chrome frame and fork. My bike was pretty badass. But the problem was every time I torqued really hard, the wheel would turn. The chain would slip, and I would flip over immediately. I must have did it 5 times. I did it in a race twice, and I did it on the street like 3 times. When the chain goes and you're going as hard as you can, you immediately go over the handlebars, dude. It is painful. And you've experienced that before?
Yeah, I've broken chains, but it also happened when I broke my cranks in half at the War of the Stars when I went over the bar.
That's right. So here's getting back.
I was a young man, and I was jacked up for weeks.
Because when you're going with everything and then there's suddenly nothing there, it hurts. So here's what my dad did, though, Kevin, and I'm glad you brought this up. So he got a piece of metal that was about this big, and he made a notch on it so that it would slide into the back of my dropout, and then my axle pushed up against that thing. So no matter how hard I pulled, it wouldn't slide anymore. And he totally I wish I would have patented that. Because I don't know if anybody else had that issue with the wheel slipping, but it only did it on that Skyway. But once my dad put that piece of metal in there, it was just it looked like it was like brushed aluminum. When he put it in, that was it. It held like money, dude. I never slipped again.
You know what I always had? I had the problem with coaster. Did you ride coaster brakes at all?
Yeah, when I first started riding, yeah.
So when you're trying to tighten your back wheel, you tighten one bolt, one nut, and then it would move the wheel, and your brakes would rub. So then you had to go, wait, loosen it up again, and then you had to move the other way. You're like, So then you had to. What we did was we put a hammer, the handle of the hammer, and shoved it in between the frame and the back wheel, and push it back, and then we would hold it, and then we tighten it with one hand because it always went one way or the other when you tighten the wheel.
Yeah, you're taking me back because that's what we had to do, right? I never raced with a coaster brake. Once I started racing, I was on a free wheel.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember them. I kind of wonder why freestylers were using them, because remember in the 80s they were rocking the coaster brakes. Did it make it easier for tricks? I mean, you did tricks. I mean, what would be the advantage of rocking a coaster brake?
When you come back, like when you do whatever you do when you come back and you flip the bike up and stand on the head tube and put your feet on and they bounce up. I guess that's probably has something to do with the coaster brake trick.
Oh, it kept the wheel locked.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So your dad was mechanical as well as my dad. Your dad was
he's really good. He's got a mechanical mind. Like he could build anything, and as a matter of fact, this was just 3 weeks ago. I was at his house. You see how I have my bikes on a bike stand behind me, and I'm sitting in my dad's patio. We just finished working. And I go, man, Dad, he goes, I got this, I'm building this new race bike, and I would really love to get another stand. And I showed him a picture of this. He goes, we can make that. And I go, well, you want to make it out of wood? And he was trying to design it so it would hang on the wall. And I said, no, I don't want to put holes in my wall. Plus the handlebars are going to always hit the wall. It just doesn't work like that. And he goes, okay, well, what if I did this? And he grabbed a notepad like this and sketched it out on what it's going to look like. And basically we made it out of metal. It's freestanding with 2 hooks that come out like this. And I'm just going to set the bike on it. We literally finished working on it last Saturday. We put the final coat of paint on it. So I'm going to bring it. Yeah, I'll show you in the next podcast because I'll probably have it home by then. Because I didn't want to put it in the car because it still smelled like paint. I go, Dad, I don't want to put that. I'm going to smell fumes all the way home. I'll just get it next week. So I'll bring it in. But it looks cool. He put there's the 2 hooks on it, and then he put a bar that goes up to the top so I can hang a helmet on it. And then he put a platform on the bottom so I could put like a jersey on there or whatever. And I was like, damn, that's pretty. Yeah, he's just pretty. He can just. How do you say it? Fabricate. Yeah, and he's really awesome at carpentry, and not what he did for a living. He's just, gifted like that.
Were your friends' parents, were they similar to you, or how did your friend? Did you have friends that were similar to you, or did you run the spectrum? Because I'm wondering, because my dad was the same way, and here's what happened at our house, right? My dad was a pipe fitter for the railroad, and my dad uses steel tools for the railroad. He worked for the railroad for 35 years, and a lot of his tools said Southern Pacific Railroad on them. But he had garages full of tools, and everybody would come over to my house to fix their bikes. So we would, my dad would come home, and there'd be one of his favorite Crest wrenches in the dirt, or there'd be missing his sockets or whatever. Did anything like that happen at your place? Was your dad the place? Was your house where everybody came to fix their bikes too?
100%, dude, because our backyard was mainly cement. So my dad had a workshop in the backyard, and there was a carport, and he built me a little room for just my stuff, for my bikes and tools and all that. And mine was like the size of a closet, but it was mine. And in his shop, dude, he had the air compressor, all the tools, everything we needed to work on bikes was in there. And he let me use his tools, dude. But I think I told you a story. If I left that thing unlocked, or if I left his tools out, man, there was hell to pay. And I'll tell you one story that it's race related. He got tired of me taking his tools out all the time, so he made a wooden toolbox for me that snapped shut. Put a bunch of tools in there for me, right? I'm about in the 8th grade at the time. And he goes, here, I made you a toolbox. You got your own tools. And I'm like, sweet. So like, I got my own tools. So about 2 weeks later, they take me to a race, and we went in the camp where my dad came. And I'm like adjusting my seat. I took the tool kit out just to play with it. And I was just adjusting my seat, tightened it down. And I put the tool kit down behind the truck. I forgot it was on the ground. The race was over. I loaded up the bike in the camper, and we went home. So fast forward to Monday, I go to look for my toolkit, and I can't find it. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know where I put it. And then it dawned on me. I go, oh, I must have left it at the races. So my dad sees me going in and out of his shop again. He goes, what are you doing? I gave you your own tools. And I go, I left it at the track, Dad. I lost it. Dude, and this is the honest truth, dude. This is how old school dad's different for us. He did not talk to me for 2 months. Didn't talk to me, dude. Like, I didn't exist. He was teaching me a life lesson, about respecting things and things like that. And I get it, but it was hard on a 13-year-old. I'm like, he didn't talk to me for till like I think summertime. And then he started talking to me again.
I can relate to so my dad had he had grinding wheels, wire wheels, sanding wheels, all in his garage. And I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I'm using a grinder, grinding my parts. And the wire wheel, I'd be taking rust off my handlebars.
Yeah.
No gloves, no. I think I had goggles on, but no gloves. And I was and it was crazy the stuff we used to do when I was a little teeny kid, man. Like I would never let my kid do that.
There was a lot of tools in there, man. All you're talking about, the vices, the grinders, the drills, everything was in there. So anything I could possibly use was in there.
The bandsaw scared the living shit out of me, dude. Bandsaw. Did your dad have a bandsaw?
I never turned on the table saw, but I played with the bandsaw a few times. Like I was cutting wood. Yeah. And,
dude, this big ass thick blade going.
Yeah.
Like, no way, man.
Yeah, dude. So we do have some similarities, dude. Our dads like that, man. Where
then my mom was totally. My mom was 10 years younger than my dad. So
okay.
My mom, she was 18 or 19 when I was born. So she never had a chance to go party. So my mom was all out partying, doing her thing, and letting my dad deal with us at home when he was awake. But
yeah,
crazy stuff. And obviously all the kids, because I mean, most of my friends didn't have a father or
right. Yeah, a lot of divorce. I had a lot of friends that were from divorced families. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would all come over to our house, right? And when my dad would fix their bikes, and he would take them on rides on one of his motorcycles, and he was kind of, and we called him. So my dad's name was Jim, but we called him Coke, like from like Coca Pop. The whole town called my dad Coke, and
really?
when he got sick, we called him Diet Coke when he lost all the weight, and it was kind of funny. Hey, Coke, can you give me a ride on the motorcycle? Sure, no problem. But great guy, but he didn't have a clue of what was going on in the house. The poor guy.
Oh my God.
Man, crazy stuff, dude. So I'm going to share one more story about this. I'm going to try to explain from my dad to people out there. So this is a funny story that my brother reminded me of. So growing up, my dad never wore any kind of athletic clothing. He always wore rayon or nylon or what's the Saturday Night Fever? What are those shirts in Saturday Night Fever?
Polyester blend.
He wore polyester shirts, polyester pants, and he wore like Clark Griswold patent leather shoes wherever he went. I never saw him wear a pair of athletic shoes in my life. Always Clark Griswold shoes.
Yeah.
So one day he gets invited on a fishing boat to go fishing. And he tells me, hey, I'm going out on this fishing boat today. And we're like, fishing boat? The man never took us fishing one time in his life, our life. We're like,
right.
Fishing boat? He's like, yeah, I have relatives. We're gonna go fishing. He disappears. My brother comes back. At the end of the day from riding or doing whatever he's doing, and he walks into the bathroom and opens the shower door, and there's like a 7-foot hammerhead shark in our bathtub. And he goes, oh my God, what the hell? And scared the living crap out of my brother. And he's looking at there's a dead shark in the bathtub. And he's like, what the hell is going on with this? And my dad thinks it's funny. And my dad comes in there and goes, what do you think? I caught this on the boat today. And I was like, why would you bring it back home? And why would you put it in the bathtub? He's like, I want to surprise your mother. Oh, Dad, that's not a good idea. Trust me. Don't worry about it. So before my mom could come back home, we convinced my dad, look, this thing, we need to get this thing out of the house, man. In the meantime, we were going out. So we took a shower with the shark in the bathtub. So we're like straddling the shark. And there's a dead shark in the So we're doing the shark thing, right? Okay, we go up. Well, while we're walking out, my dad's like, okay, we need to take the shark outside. But what are we going to do with the shark? I mean, Danny, this is a big shark, dude. It took all of us to get the shark out of the house. So we put it in our trash can and put it out for the trash man, right?
Wait, was it hanging out of the can?
The head is hanging out of the top of the can. And it's on the street. In a really nice city, by the way. And after about 2 days, this thing starts smelling, dude, like.
That was my next question.
The neighbors are complaining. They're knocking on the door saying, hey, what the hell's in the shark? They called. They called animal control on my dad, dude.
I just spit water all over myself, dude.
Animal control came out and they're like, what the? You have a shark an unalive shark in the trash can. You can't do that. We're getting complaints from the whole neighborhood. You can't do that. So they took the shark and they fined my dad a couple $100. And I tell that story all the time, man.
Dude, that is the funniest shit you've ever told me, dude. And you've told me some funny stories, man. This whole episode went off the rails. We haven't talked about BMX a whole lot.
I've been waiting to tell that story. I go, might as well tell it now, dude. Oh man.
I have literally nothing to compare that to, dude. Nothing. Oh my God, dude.
This is the same father that I would be ditching every day from school, and he would say, Don't you have to go to school today? And I go, no, not today. We have parent-teacher conferences. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And he believed me, but we lived a block from the school. People walking to school every day. And then you'd say, well, hey, how come I don't ever go to these parent-teacher conferences?
Dude, that is the funniest. Dude.
Oh, man, dude.
I'm not even going to try to top that story. That one, man, that hurt my soul. That was so funny.
Oh, man. I hope everybody else finds it as funny as I think. But, yeah, dude, he was supportive. He loved dirt bikes. I was the only kid. We were the only kids in town that had, 4 dirt bikes before we were even 15, 16 years old. I had 2 cars.
Yeah.
It was never anything good, though. It was just stuff you got from yard sales, man.
I think that if we sat down and tried to write a sitcom based on your family, dude, it would be like better than the Goldbergs. Dude,
I talked about. I'm a pretty good writer. I'm a pretty good writer, I think. And,
yeah.
My wife is. I'm not just saying that because you brought it up.
Yeah.
My wife has told me several times through our marriage that I need to write a book or a screenplay because any one of that story could be transplanted into any comedy, right?
For real, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I came home and my dad put a full-size shark in the bathtub, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would react to that. And then didn't even try to bury that. Just put it in the garbage can where it's gonna rot.
Yeah, dude, funny stuff, man. Anyway, do you mind if I ask you when your mom passed?
Yeah, she died unfortunately January. It was 2 years ago. So this January it'll be
recently.
Yeah. So that's why I dedicate a lot of my time going to my dad's on Saturday so we can work on the property and stuff because him and my mom would do everything together. And they were married. Oh man, 59 years. Yeah, and I'm embarrassed, dude, because all I have is a trail of failed relationships, and my parents have been together for 59 years. You know what I mean? And then so, like, I always have a lot of respect for when I see somebody that's got that longevity, like your marriage. My buddy Fred, he's been married a long time too. So it's pretty cool to see that,
Funny thing that my mom and dad got divorced right before I went in the Marine Corps. I was 19. And my mom kept saying, I'm gonna stay for you guys. I'm gonna stay for the kids. I'll leave my dad when you guys get older. And so periodically through, when we were like 15, 14, 16, she would leave. She would say, I can't deal with this. She'd leave. And my dad would say, go out there and convince your mom to come back. That's kind of a messed up thing to do. So we go out there and tell my mom, please come back. And my mom would okay, fine, I'll come back, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was it's crazy. I was going to a story.
Dude, your family dynamic is ridiculously funny, dude. I'm honestly, I'm telling you, man, you need to put pen to paper while you still have all your.
I have a lot more stories. I don't want to bore the audience, but maybe for another upcoming episode. But my dad passed away right after I got married. So 90, 99, 98, something like that. And
been a while.
Yeah. So here, okay, one more story and I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
My dad lived in this huge house in Duarte, California. Now, Duarte, California back in the late 90s was not a good area.
Okay. Not
a good area. But he had this huge house that was run down that was chock full of crap. I'm talking to the rafters, tools, furniture, everything, just motorcycles, cars. He had probably 6 cars. He had probably 30 motorcycles, 100 bicycles, skateboard, everything you can imagine in this house.
Yeah.
With 2 dogs. My dad passed away. They found him. He had passed away like 2 weeks and they found him.
Oh, wow.
So they peeled my dad, and we had, so my brother and I, we're looking at our inheritance. And we go, well, what are we going to do? So we had yard sales at my dad's house. So my dad had so much stuff that you couldn't pull everything out. So what we did, we just opened the door and let people come in.
Right. It's like an estate sale.
Yes. But
yeah.
So people going, they were, but rummaging through trash. There was trash. There was dog feces. There were rats. There were mice. There were roaches. There was rotten food in the cup. It was horrible.
Oh, like the TV show.
It was like dude, exactly like the TV show.
So at this point, your mom wasn't there anymore. This is your dad's house.
Yeah,
okay.
It's my dad. And the funny part about it is how can I say this on the podcast without getting banned? A gentleman came out of my dad's house, and he had a blow-up doll. For somewhere in the house, my dad had a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
And this guy brought out and goes, "How much for the blow-up doll?" And I'm like, you can't be serious, dude. You want to buy that?
Yeah.
You want to use that? He's like, "Yes." I go, "Dude, just take it, man. I don't want it." So my dad.
So what was the process to empty the house, dude? How long did that take?
The biggest mistake of my life, dude.
Yeah.
My dad, the house was probably, if my dad was making payments on it, this mortgage was probably $300,000 on the house.
Oh, wow.
It was horrible. There were holes in the floor. There was, we had yard sales every weekend for like 3 months. And we didn't even clean out half the house. It was tools and motorcycles and organs and pianos and hang gliders, water skis, snow skis, dude, everything that you could possibly imagine in this house. And we didn't even empty out half of it. And we walked away from the house, dude. We
just left it?
Take it. That house to this day is worth over $1 million. And I gave it away.
Oh, because you were just done.
I was done.
Man.
Neither one of us, my brother probably had a little bit more money than I did at the time, but it probably would have cost us $100,000 to rehab it, to get everything out, to fix the floors, the roof, everything. If we had the money, we certainly didn't want to live in Duarte. I mean, Duarte was a terrible neighborhood at the time. But
so you just let the bank take it? Basically, you're just like, take it, like let it get foreclosed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And did you make any actual money off of selling all the miscellaneous things? Yeah.
We made like $20,000, dude, each.
No.
Yeah. At selling at a yard sale.
No way.
My dad had like I'm not exaggerating. Anybody watching this that knows my family knows that I'm not lying. My dad probably had 25, 30 different motorcycles. There was a guy that came in with a box van, and he came in with a regular car. He saw all the motorcycles and goes, how much for them all? And we're like, $1,000, dude. Okay, I'll be back in an hour. And it was just like a BMX, like a guy coming to a BMX, finding a BMX bike at a yard sale.
Yeah.
Same thing. This guy was like, he found gold.
Yeah.
We had like 70s, 60s, 50s motorcycles, dirt bikes, street bikes, probably 30 motorcycles, sold them all for like $1,000, $2,000. We'd be selling stuff. We didn't even care. Snap-on or Milwaukee handsaw or power drills that needed 2 hands that are probably, they're probably worth $400 or $500 each. $50, $100, $25. After a while, we got so used to selling stuff. It was like, just get it out of here. It was just done.
Yeah.
And we still made $20,000. each.
Wow. And there was still more than half the stuff left.
Yeah.
Wow. And that, dang, dude, that is insane, man.
Yeah.
Because I've only seen hoarders on TV. You actually lived it.
Yeah.
Was your mom's reaction to all that? Like, I knew that would happen if I wasn't here. Yeah. Type thing. Because she's like, I can't control it anymore. You're just do whatever you want, you know?
So I meet my wife. I take my wife over to meet my dad for the first time.
Right.
I'm 26, maybe 27. And I go, look, I got to prepare you for where my dad lives. It's not good.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. I go, trust me. Walk in and there's roaches. My dad has to move. He has to shake the cushion off of the chair to get the roaches off, so my wife can sit down. And he goes, "Do you guys want some pie?" And we're all, "No." And he goes, "You sure?" And he goes underneath the couch, and he pulls out a pie that was underneath his couch.
No.
We're all, "Oh my God! There's no way I'm eating that pie, man. No way."
Oh man.
Yeah, dude. So he was a legit hoarder, man. But he had everything, man. If I needed a car growing up, I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I need a car." He goes, "Come on over. I got one for you."
Oh, right.
He would just get he gave me a Cadillac Eldorado. He gave me a '56 Bug. He gave me a Mazda RX-2. He gave me a Datsun B210. Growing up, right? I'm in my 20s or whatever. I don't have money. Come on over and get a car. Okay. Go throw me the keys for a Bug.
No way.
But your family were nice, clean, respectable people.
Yeah, dude, we could not. It was very. I guess I got all my life lessons from mom and dad because house was always clean, always neat. We weren't allowed to sleep in. My dad's a military guy like you were, man. And
oh, really?
We couldn't sleep in. We had to get up. I had to make sure the yard was done Saturday morning. Every night, man, me and my sister had to make sure the kitchen was clean, the living room was clean before we went into our rooms for the night. And it was just very structured growing up, man. It was very strict, but I appreciate it now. But at the time, I'm like, I just want to watch Saturday cartoons, but I wasn't allowed to stay in the house and watch TV during the day. It's like, go outside. It was always go outside, you know? Yeah, that was pretty much my childhood. So it's very different, man. Your stories are so awesome.
So when did your family move out of the family homestead in where you live?
Well, we lived in Union City until I was about 19, and then my parents bought that ranch that my dad lives at right now, and I moved there with them until I moved out on my own about 2 years later. It's when I ventured out on my own after that. But we had my parents were really savvy, man, with real estate. At one point they had the house we lived in, they owned the house across the street, they owned the house down the street, they had a house on the other side of town, they owned a duplex next door to that, they had a house in Tahoe. They were like really savvy, man, with real estate investing. And dude, I'm a chicken shit. I have one rental house with my sister and I don't want nothing else to do with it, dude. It's a pain in the ass, dude.
I've always thought about getting a rental, and I'm like, yeah, I'd pick the one guy that was like the Mike Keaton, the Keaton movie, Pacific Heights or whatever.
Oh yeah,
bad tenant.
Yeah, I had a nightmare tenant in there. I got a whole YouTube video on it. It's in somewhere in the channel. Yeah, it's called Rental House Nightmare or something like that. And I had this gal living in there with her daughters and her daughters' kids, and man, they destroyed that rental house, dude. They destroyed it. They were there for about 5 or 6 years. And my mom passed away, and me and my sister are managing everything, you know, and she's like, so what's the story with the rental house? And I go, man, I'm having such a hard time with it. I can never get in there, and the rent's almost impossible to get. And then they were falling like months and months behind. And then my sister's like, I'm going to help you. And then we evicted them, which took that was about 3 or 4 months to get them out. And then when they were out, my sister went to the house first, and I was sitting here working, and she was just crying. And when she called me, she goes, this house is destroyed. And then we had to go through the whole process like your dad's house. Very similar, dude. The only thing difference was that they left garbage in the house, but they took most of their stuff out. but there was garbage everywhere. There was mice in there, rats, there was roaches. And I was like, they had little kids in here, dude. And the smell of the house, man, I got to tell you, Kevin, you could be outside, open the front door, step a few feet back, and still smell how bad it smelled in there, dude. But now it's completely redone. It's all fixed. I got one of my best friends from high school is living there with her husband. House is in perfect condition again. It's like, but it took us about 4 months to fix it. Yeah, it's all documented, dude. You got to dig through my channel. You'll find it.
I will.
Yeah.
We'll link it, man. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to label this episode, but I've had a blast, dude. This has been fun, but I don't know. I hope people don't get mad. We kind of diverged a little bit today.
I'm going to apologize because me and Kevin just went way off the rails. We were going to talk about BMX, growing up with the BMX family and all the traveling and all.
We did.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And then we went, but I don't care, dude. Every once in a while, we got to just have fun. And what we had talked about on another subject, you and I said maybe we should have another channel where we just talk about growing up in our era in the 80s, you know, like kind of a Generation X.
Okay, you said it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I
don't
won't
want no one to steal the name. But yes, dude, that would be. We've talked about it a couple of times about having just a Gen X podcast channel.
Yeah, but man, our plate is very full right now as we're trying to grow this channel, and I have my own, and we shot 2 days in a row, and but it's pretty cool. I think we're on the right track, man. So anyway, I hope people still listen because we went off the rails, dude.
We can listen to it.
There you go, yeah.
All right, man. So why don't you tell me what you do, bro? Your channel.
All right, you can find me on YouTube under Danny Pena BMX Racing. I do race reviews, magazine reviews, all BMX related topics. Please like and subscribe and share. We're doing pretty good, man. 937 on the subscriber count. So I'm chasing I feel like I'm racing myself now because I'm part of Kevin's team here. But what are we at right now on this channel? What was the count again?
Let me see. 11:01.
Oh man, we're doing good.
So we got some work to do, but we're on the right track. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and if you made it this far, I hope that the shark story saved it at the end. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. And until next week, the sharks in the tub.
No, the sharks in the can.
The dogs are trapped in the truck. And until next week, the track is closed. Peace out, man.